Stranger in Time, Chapter 12. City in the Park. Lily plodded up the hill towards Golden Gate Park. The streets weren't as crowded as they'd been earlier, but ever so often Lily passed someone hurrying back down towards Chinatown. Maybe they were hoping to save their family's papers like May. Lily hoped they'd find their way past those soldiers, get what they needed, and stay safe. Where was May? Lily searched every doorway she passed. Once she got away from Chinatown, the streets grew busier. Families gathered around stoves they dragged outside or built out of stones. They fired bacon and stirred pots, watching the fires spread into the distance. Bacon? Ranger was hungry. Scents of smoked meat and chicken stewed mingled with the ash from the fires. All the families gathered around their homemade brick ovens reminded him of cooking out on the patio with Luke and Sadie and their parents. Those fires were full of rich smells and easy laughter, but it wasn't like that now. Here, good scents mingled with other smells, crumbling buildings, bitter smoke, and death. They'd passed several horses that had been crushed under fallen walls. Ranger walked close to Lily, nudging her away from the building that still seemed to be settling from the quake. Ranger sniffed at the doll sticking out from Lily's bundle of clothes. He sniffed again and got so close to Lily that she tripped over his feet. "What are you doing, dog?" Lily asked. She stopped, took the doll from the stack, and looked at it. Then she held it out to Ranger. "Are you after May's doll?" Ranger sniffed again. "We need to find her. Where is she?" Lily asked. "Find." Ranger barked. He sniffed at the air and the ground from any other trace of May's scent. But if she'd escaped Chinatown before the blast began, she hadn't come this way. After a few blocks, Lily sighed and tucked the doll down into her bundle. She kept watching for May, but there was no sign of her friend. Lily wasn't even sure which direction she was headed anymore. Her eyes burned. Her feet ached. Her hands were cramped and her arms trembled from carrying the birdcage and bundle of clothes so far. Every few blocks, another fire or block-off street turned her around. Finally, she found her way back to Market Street and climbed the long hill to Golden Gate Park. When she arrived, the entire city was there. At least it seemed that way. The army had open relief stations. Tired-looking people stood in long lines that snaked around buildings and trees. Lily stepped up to an officer who was watching a line. "Excuse me, I'm looking for my friend." "Ha!" The man laughed and swept his arms out over the mob. "Good luck." Lily didn't give up. She'd be with her brother, I think, and he's hurt. Is there a hospital? Someplace where the injured are being tended? The man tipped his hat towards the mob. "Hospital's tents over yonder." Then he looked down at Lily. "But you've moved the Chinese to a separate camp at Presidio." He pointed the other way. Lily was confused. "But the doctor and mechanics pavilion said—" "You're not going to find your people here," the soldier said. "You'd best be on your way." And he turned back to the bread line. Tears stung Lily's eyes. Her stomach ached with hunger, but she took Ranger's collar, whispered, "Come on, dog," and squeezed through the crowd in the direction the officer had pointed. Lily gripped the birdcage so tightly her hand cramped. Every part of her felt angry and clenched. Why wasn't Lee being cared for where the doctor had sent him? What kind of city took the time to sort and separate people when everyone was hurting so much? Ranger nudged Lily's hand. She ignored him at first, but then he nuzzled again and she stopped for a moment. She put down the birdcage and her bundle of cloths, dropped to her knees beside him, and left herself cry. Ranger leaned against her as she sobbed. Then he licked her cheek. Lily sniffed and took a deep breath. Then she stood and picked up her things. "We'll find Lee and May at the Presidio," she told Ranger. Her voice sounded certain and true, but she never felt more alone in her life.